it's Chris from KhipHop Discussions, and I had to hop on here because I just heard the episode 10 songs again, but this time I really listened to them. We have to do this now. We have to. So let's get into it. Oh, this is Marv's song. He's got his Melina WWE boots on.
Nobody can you let me on. Finally, wanna to let me so last melody. But I jump catch focus. Like a Penomeco don't come and to catch. Not a Gezangi, Pamendo watching. Oh no, I'ma go stick it to the top. Oh no, more than lick it, jumbo top. Oh no, from your ticket sold out.
Yeah. Oh, I wrote about.
Bobby gon' get it up. Bobby gon' get it up. Papa don't back me up. Mama don't back me up. Papa Dallas on a jammy though. Talking man, I tryna set me up. My lover, fat neck got your brother. Ow! Orderly, uh-huh. Orderly, uh-huh. Orderly, uh-huh. Orderly, Penomeco. Bless, 나도 샷잖아 비. 하나 비만한 땅에 한 바가지 쏘나 기뻤더니 내가 뺏기라니 모두는 기우제 나를 벤치마킹 어머 오랜만에 TV에 나오나 봐 완전 난국 방구지에 버나봐 All of them they go slow on 하나 Big trouble get it dripping and gonna die Spilling it 불판 새겨봐가 permanent 26 I feel like I'm Guardian Alright spilling it 손목에다 구만하다고 치고 올라갔던 느낌만큼만 아깝다고 많구만 다시 말해 이건 역사적인 콜라보야 가서 전에 태겨 팍팍 생그라 파파 Bobby gon' get it up Bobby gon' get it up Papa don't back me up Mama don't back me up Papa tell us how to jam it up Talking man I'm trying to set me up My lover plan they got your brother Modelik Everybody put your hands up, make some
I've heard this song 4 times, twice live and twice on the album version. I'm not a fan of it. I'm just not. It's really noisy, but that's a quality that pretty much all of these songs, most of these songs have. There's a lot going on, and you know, I guess this is called Afrobeats. I don't really listen to that much Afrobeat. I don't think I listen to Afrobeats at all, but that's the genre isn't why I'm not really a big fan of this song. It's not the artist why I'm not a big fan of this song either. I'm just like not a big fan of this song. So that's how I felt about that one. I'm gonna move on to the next one. All right, so this is MR.ROCKLEE with Zene and Zilla.
신발 파이어 Penomeco 협찬 바로 너 베이버 알아주는 점수도 안 넘어 지쳐 고민할 시간에 시쳐 걱정을 해봤자 되리는 되더라 안 되리는 되더라 잘한 건 역사 못한 건 서사 안 한 건 노심초사 Ain't no rockstar popstar baby I just a rap star 끈을 묶은
Alright, I like that lyric. Ain't no rap star, no rock star, pop star, baby, I'm just a rap star. Period. I like that.
파이어 펜은 형처럼 바로 너 페이버 알아주는 메이커 눈에처럼 내 삶은 락리 Call me Mr. Rockley 결국 여기 서 있어 이 몸이 Call me Mr. Rockley 결국 여기 서 있어 이 몸이 Mr. Rockley Let's get it Mr. Rockley 여러분 Make some noise for Justhis!
Yeah, Justhis 12년 믹스테이프 랩 들어보 랩으로도 녹해버려 했던 놈들이 이제 내가 걔처럼 머리 백간 씌워서 앨범에다가 태워버려도 쇼미 12 어때 Justhis 없으니 재밌어 효진 누나 어때요 흔히 부르면 죽을 때까지 평생 고소 엄마 형제 군대 그 락피나 캐스 못해 200억 때도 여태나 잘려서 색은 내 자유 대한민국 색깔은 태극 타이적 음진이 야마랑 내 마는 달라다니까 허스마을 말을 한다 인생사 세우지마 새우처럼 물고 중요처럼 웃을 때도 나는 한기만 판다 노력까지 배신하면 정없지 대한민국 정은 어디 K-pop 팀은 뜻머니 콜롬비아랑 손이 거치 KKK 좋은 게 좋은 거니 벌스 하나가 립버러러나네 까지가 쇼미 때부터 어쩔 수가 없다 표정까지가 쇼미더머니 치키 그래서 쇼미에서 언급 치기까지 트릭 아니 게임가
끈을 묶고 새 신발 파이어 펜은 네이스 형찬 바로 너 베이버 알아주는 메이커 눈에처럼 레이저 내 삶은 락리 Call me Mr. Rockley 결국 여기 서 있어 이 몸이
Let's get it
Call me Mr. Rockley 결국 여기 서 있어 이 몸이 That must be
Okay, so I feel like Mr. Rockley is one of the better songs out of all the songs on the album, if you will, the compilation album. So yeah, there's that. And I also, personally, I just like this one because Marv, MDLZ, and this one went head to head. Marv ended up going home, but I think the reason why I like this one better is because it's more hip-hop. Because Marv's songs, MDLZ, is more of an Afrobeats song, so there's that. But then this one is just, especially in the live version, I feel like the instrumental isn't too overpowering. A lot of these songs are really loud and chaotic on the recorded version at least. So I like how the instrumental wasn't as loud on the live version as it was on the recorded version. And that chorus is relatively catchy. I didn't actually think it was that as, how do I say this? Like, it was catchy to an extent, but it wasn't as catchy as people tried to make it seem when I was watching the show, you know what I mean? If you know, maybe you don't, I don't know, but I feel like I explained it well. So out of those two songs, I do like Mr. Rockley better, and I think out of all 10 of the songs on this episode, this was one of the better ones, but it's not the best one, so we're gonna go on to the next one and see what that one's about. So this is Mama by Trey B and Jeffrey White featuring Uneducated Kid. A lot of really loud people, but let's get into the song.
가자.
Okay, see, yeah, actually this song is the reason why that made me decide that, wow, this is a really loud album. It's so much going on. But on this, in the live version, I noticed that the instrumental isn't as loud, so it's a bit more tolerable, but we'll talk about that more at the end, so let's get back into it.
네 시험이 끝나면 바로 클럽으로 달려가겠지 그곳에서는 네 노래가 흘러나오겠지 같이 기억하지 3년 전에 내 위치 그렇기에 잊지 못할 네 꿈이 뭐였는지 드디어 나올라 무대 위에 몸을 뛰어놀아 나를 위해 내 추억들을 옷을 잡을 피해 내가 걔네 꿈에 살고 있기에 알고 있는 넌 내려가 시소 케이지 보라 날 믿어 내 뒤로 보여 이제 우리 엄마의 미소 힘내 다른 말은 세워 걱정을 하지 마라 텔레비전 속 나를 보라 Watch me Watch me Yeah Yeah I made it mama 기억이 안 나 시작이 무대에 오르면 멈춰 시간이 Yeah 너무나 많이 보냈어도 가야 해 약간이
엄청 신나 보인다.
But you can't get that 네가 봤던 내 미래 이건 어서겠지 I just pop out Okay day get back Friday when I just pop out 내 충격 있었지 Finally here 가져와 spotlight 보자겠어 훔쳐보지 락손
라이브 좋다.
비행기를 태워줄게 톤대 내게 준 세상을 다시 줄게 방해반이 너무나 뮤테 내일을 거두고 참 무릎에 이게 봐봐 Let's just say it now Who's the real king 걱정은 하지 마라 텔레비전 속 나를 봐봐 Watch me Yeah 해만 꿈을 마와 Hey 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 Yeah I made it mama Let me ice out Let it go 난 데려갈게 이 노래로 빨리 나와 Rodeo Mama 눈치 보지 말고 돌아 Always keep it hot 여기 날 놀러도 못잖아
레드 형님아.
그리 화내 쓰고 있을 드라마 내가 잠깐밖에 날 소리 나라 그냥 하는 거지 보니 빨리 말해 너만 난 너무나도 화나 근데 난 참아 때릴 수 없잖아 엄마한테 전화가 와 Yeah 거야 어디니 하면 좋다 Yeah 어디 한번 놀러와봐 Yeah I couldn't stop gonna be a star 전설이 됐어 전설이 됐어 걱정을 하지 마 걱정을 하지 마 텔레비전 속 나를 봐봐 Watch me Yeah 해보그만 mama Hey hey 전설이 됐어 mama
This song sounds a lot better live because the sound balance is better. So, like I said with the Zilla, the instrumental takes kind of a back seat and it seems like it's lower than the mics, which is a really good choice. On the actual recorded version, it's like everything is the same volume. It's so loud. I was getting a headache. I started to feel sick listening to this. Like, there's so much going on the instrumental, which is why they had to be loud, because on the instrumental that's as loud and dynamic and all of that as this instrumental is, you kind of have to be loud in order to not get drowned out by it. And I like this instrumental, and I also like the volume of the rappers' voices on the different instrumental, but both of them together, it was just too much. It definitely gave me a headache, and yeah, it was a lot. But I can see that it's not a horrible song. It's a good song. It's just like overstimulating. And yeah, I purposely got on here almost immediately after I heard these songs because I wanted to maintain my feelings about them. I wanted to make sure that I expressed them in their purest form. So if I'm in too good of a mood, then I feel like my reviews and my reactions don't come out as analytical as they could be. And I feel like if I'm in too bad of a mood, then I'll just sit here and be overly critical. So I like when I have a nice balance going. Oh, that's it. That's the key right there. Balance. I think what would have been better for these recordings would to be just like on the live version, turn down either the instrumental a little. You can't really turn down their voice, but the instrumentals are just too overstimulating, overwhelming for a lot of them. But we'll go on to the next one and talk about it. So let's get into that.
Oh, crazy. Oh my god, crazy.
다 만들었네.
Okay, so I like how they went with the props on stage. They put a lot of emphasis on the stage props and things like that. You know, it wasn't the basic just, oh, we're gonna come out in swagged out rapper outfits. They actually dressed up like trashmen. And yeah, that was an interesting choice. So good for them.
We go dirty, I don't care about him. We go nine, go to Gordy. I'm about to crash on it, steady like I'm dirty. Yo, we go dirty. Put him in the dirt, kapow. Then I'll put him on a shirt, kapow. Let those sheep be called a life beef, not sheep, you jerky. That shit better on your face if you wanna play dirty. Sit with my twin, she go Otis, ego biz, double M's, so they on my chop, 우리 뱀은 top, open top, she like, oh my god, that her shot, Tony Montana and soprano, I bet you believe in a high note. Hey, I'm back on the upside brown shoe, riding dirty folks, yeah, how to move, now yo, consider like a typhoon, it's a big wall like a typhoon, keep it cool, that attitude, cause you got you not time, so pick a move, take a dude, it'll me and June, baby, we don't play by rules, baby, I'll play by the root no more, this 소리 나 바이든 큐 no more, 내 소리 들어가지 마 no more. Yeah, we're doing the most.
온다.
Yeah, we're doing the most. Is that Zico? 음악도 들어줘, don't be cooking, 쟤네 벽에 위에 담아 그냥, cutie 보자 too much logo 싹 다 like I chew ya. Skip the clean version. Yeah, we going dirt. Yeah, we going dirt. Yeah, we going dirt. Yeah, we going dirt. Yeah, we going. Big fitness start I'm playing. Finna rock out to the main playlist. That rap to the people not swagging. My body next someone supposed. Okay, 흘러내 adrenaline cocktail. Yeah, I'm speeding that venom and I go J Paula gonna close. 네 구리 룩에 내가 shredded. Wiping the flow with the pin on it. Can't 부숴도 못 막아 내 구리네. 돈 알게나 얘나 걔나 지쳐. 밤낮 없이 다 줬다 백여. 기복이 안 되는 애들 checker. In my dust, different caliber UPS. Up the scope and I deliver 모두 머리 땅에 쳐박고. 걸음부터 다 I'm your stepping. 괜찮아 but I keep on spending. I pull a freshman. How I'm better than all these veterans. Yeah, all the veterans. Vocal juice, yeah, we go back on the road. And I'm better. Hey, yeah, we go too dirty. 우리 마음대로 해. Me and Sandou is a clean sweep. Like Shaq and Kobe, this a 3P. 가방이 터져 trophies. 가방만 터져 쌍코피. Sonic true, left feeling like Carney. They don't know how to just stop it. 존재가 toxic. 우리끼리 챙겨 profit. Going out of bed, 없으면 잡이. 입맛도 떨어져, don't be cooking, 쟤는 병기 위에 담아 그냥, cutie 보자 too much loco 싹 다 like I chew you. Skip the clean version. Yeah, we going dirt. Yeah, we going dirt. Yeah, we going dirt. What? Yeah, we going dirt. Yeah, we going. 뛸 준비됐어요? Let's go. Let's go. You guys, hands up. Why you guys not do? Go dirty. Yeah, we going dirty. Yeah, we going dirty. Yeah, we going dirty. Yeah, we going dirty.
Alright, so this is another one that is better live. And you guys know I like live performances better, but there's just specific stuff about this that makes the live performance better. Particularly the lowering of the instrumental. There's a lot going on a lot of these instrumentals because pretty much all of them and pretty much all of the songs on this season so far have been genre fusion. They haven't been just hip hop. So maybe that might be the issue. I'm not used to some of these types of like EDM, what do you call that? Techno, electronic. So I'm not Jersey Shore, like I'm not really used to that music. So maybe that's why it's like not, I've heard of it, but it's not something I listen to pretty much ever unless it's just on TV or on the club or something. So maybe that's why they're not hitting for me because I don't really listen to that type. But yeah, one thing on the recorded version that I liked is I liked until on the chorus changed. I like that specific portion, and I would have liked it better if the entire song was that style like that. The best way I know how to explain it is like early 2000s, well rave, but early 2000s kind of like futuristic techno. If you've ever played the game Amplitude, that's what I'm seeing in my head as these songs are playing. So that's the vibe they give me, if that makes sense. So go look up this game Amplitude on YouTube if you haven't played it before. At 2:09, when Sandou's verse comes in, like it's actually his flow that kind of takes me out of the song. I don't really like the way he did that. That's just my opinion. I didn't really notice it that much in the live version. It wasn't as extreme. And I think that's another reason why these live versions come out better, because they distract you from certain stuff with all the bells and the whistles going on. So there's that too. But overall, I don't think this is a horrible song, but it's not one of the best ones on the album. If you split it into two sections, which are like the top tier and the bottom tier, this one was on the bottom tier with those songs for me. I think a lot of these songs just aren't my personal style, but there's probably a lot of people who really like this style. Maybe I'm getting old or something. Like maybe these are trendy and the kids are loving it. But I'm gonna be 30 years old next year, so maybe I'm just getting old. So there's that. But anyway, I'm gonna go on to the next one. Okay, so this one is Sky Pass by Osun and Mason Home featuring Bobby. And while I was watching the show live, I actually liked this one. It was one of my favorites from the episode. But when I was listening to the album version, I didn't really like this one at all. So let's see what's going on. No, it wasn't that I didn't like it at all. It just wasn't that great when I listened to the recording. So let's see why. I don't know. Huh? Yeah, I'm very curious now.
스케이트보드. 멋있어. 비트 좋다.
Sun is rising, roll the dice with my name, yeah I like it. To get to my place I gotta Skype it. Smell good, yeah. Channel number 5, yeah. 똑같이 생긴 새내들 다 look around me.
대충 걸어도 자기 음색이 나온다.
Almost every song, every live performance has auto-tune on it now. And so I do like the auto-tune to a certain extent because I just like the digital sound. But I think it's starting to be too much. And that's another thing I'm gonna say. Like, there's just certain things that everybody's doing and everybody can't do the same stuff. Like, it's not varied enough. Everybody's applying the same formula and nah. But anyway, that's not necessarily how I felt about this song, but it's how I feel about the songs overall for this episode. But let's get back into it.
내가 잘한다.
I'm about to check the code. I might be on my road. I'm out to check the Tony. I'm out to not on plane. 똑같은 색 flags. I don't care on my way. 절대 안 맞춰. 내 몸에 brand new copy that. Woke up in a plane. 모르는 건 하얀색 스테이지로 touchdown. My life in a chair. 엄마한테 전화. Mama on now. Okay, 저기 한 편은 날 해주나 와키잖아. 세 번째 계약 쪽에 또 길. Okay, 100개 사이즈 다운 너네 프로모보다 끊기 좀 미란 내 판단 그렇지 않아 널 떠나 장담 Okay, 넌 절대 내 적이 아니야 그렇다고 우리 지금 마주돼서 boy you like Can't feel it 멈춰져 느낌이 나를 몰아치시니 이미 넘어져 limit 아무도 KhipHop playing yeah 보는 동무 한번 크게 쏘쏘 원하는 게 있을 뻔 So what? Sun is rising Roll the dice with my name Yeah I like it To get to my place I gotta sky.
Okay, so back to the auto-tune. I actually like it on this song. It fits for the live version of this song. So, not this one, but since auto-tune was brought up, I just wanted to bring it up. I think a lot of people can't tell when someone's voice has been digitally altered anymore. They literally sound like a robot. But some people can't tell. It's something, I think it's because it's been on so many songs and so many people are using it live nowadays that some people just can't tell anymore. There's that. But anyway, back to the point, I like it on this live performance specifically.
나도 편하게 살게 공연 보러 가 핸드폰인 듯이 난 커버
것만 처머리 내오던 내게는 뮤스버스 검정 색깔 말이랑 달려 내일이 없는 기분이 집에선 전문가들 내 옆에서 봐 This ain't no easy This ain't almost turbulence like I get the milk pizza Yeah she's towing shining she racks in the middle of my store 빌린 거면 아껴서 네 문가보다 비싸니까 low fly 말고 돈 안 되면 절대 없어 This the fire Jesus speaker 가로가로 쳐부서 엄마 말 믿어 근데 어느 누가 더 지킬 건 지켜 하고 싶은 말 갈기는 게는 지금 3초에 넘겼어 5 You know what I mean? 네 말에 심장을 계속 뛰고 눈물이 아까워지기 전에 녹아 개변의 real 거짓말 못하겠지 가사도 입어야지 제발 앞에 ladies I'm blowing up for 돈이랑 수용하지 오지 느낌 세상 바뀌는 느낌 니네가 돌았듯이 우린 이미 이대로 기다렸지 There should be nothing on me 바비야 싫어하는 기분의 모두의 견디가 함께야 뭔가 오가시게 나를 본 손을 걸으면은 느낌이 다르지 피냄새 너나 상구경을 하지 싫어하지 않는 내게 거고 호를 담이 하는 녀석들 다 떨어지지 우르르 몰려다니는 발자국 진동에 내내 투표했던 바지그 감처럼
Dang, he got out the military and came straight here. Wow.
가만히게서도 돈을 제발 좀 써달라 개처럼 겨와 갇히지 말아니 가사에 나오는 모든 명품의 결배는데 하루게 걸어갈 여자랑 옷이랑 말 안 되는 영어 가사 좀 쓰지 마 목표운 녀석들 좀이라도 도는 게 이런 산을 짓다대 나는 결심을 맞춰 차갈래 넘어서 날아오는 나비 밥을 좀이라도 도는 게 피처를 쓰고서 내가 누구 덮치는 재미로 모을 때 좋아 잘하네 어선가 매일 승어놓고 나는 다른 픽을 찍고 말을 지구가 도는 거야 해가 뜨는 게 아니라 빛이 보고 싶어 두 발을 움직여 아니 자리가 싫어서 뭐라도 했더니 기회를 잡아서 So what 거리 고리 들었어 Sun is rising Roll the dice with my name Yeah I like it To get to my place I gotta Skype it Smell good yeah. Channel number 5 yeah Let's go Sun is rising Roll the dice with my name Yeah I like it To get to my place I gotta Skype it Smell good yeah. Channel number 5 yeah What's that bro? 똑같이 생긴 샌들 다 Look around Look around 뒤를 돌아봐 눈가라 마이치 오게 기가 막힌 타이밍 두 눈을 켜둔 채로 살아 똑같이 생긴 샌들 다
기타는 이거 좋겠어.
Okay, yeah, I really liked that performance. I liked that song on the performance. I really liked that portion with Mason Home playing the guitar. I don't know if he's playing for real or if he was just mimicking it, because sometimes people will mimic the instruments in a live performance. But I don't know, if he was playing, then good for him. I liked that aspect because we don't really get to see the contestants themselves get to play any instruments for the most part. So that was cool. Oh, that's actually the exact opposite of what I liked in the recorded version. I was wondering why are so many songs rock influenced? And I know that rock influences haven't been done that much on Show Me the Money, but I feel like there's a lot of songs with a lot of the songs with guitars on them are actually by Loco and Grace. So that's only one team doing that. So it's not really as common as I thought it was. So never mind to that. Like, I still had a headache listening to this song, but I'm gonna blame it mostly on that Mama song, because that's the one that really gave me the headache. Maybe it was all Uneducated Kid Tracy and Jeffrey White's fault for being loud AF. Maybe it was their fault. So let me just say everything that I said. One thing I said was that I feel like a lot of the SMTM producers are just overdoing it. I get this show is mostly just to make money so they can do whatever they see as a trending thing, but it gets to a point where it's just too much. Honestly, I think a lot of them have too many like pulsating sounds. Maybe that's what's like, because like I said, it has like that type of vibe to it. So maybe that's what's giving me the headache. I think I said that earlier. I understand that the contrast is good by doing a lot of the songs have contrast, but it's not subtle enough, especially on the recorded version. You can't spot it as well in the live version, because like I said, it's lower. I'm probably gonna keep saying that, and it's just like everybody's kind of doing the same thing, but I have more to say about that on the next song, which is Emergency by Fleeky Bang. So let's just go to that one. So okay, and so I actually didn't see this one live. I'm going based on the order on the recorded version as opposed to the order that they were performed live. So this is one of the last few songs performed on that episode 10. So I didn't see this one. First time reacting, let's get into it. First time seeing, so let's get into it.
보여줘 보여줘.
Ayo try, we finally got it okay. 기대한데 우리한테 와예란 걸어다 배. 결국 우리가 이겼네. 네 크루는 가짜 플랜. 나 겹쳐 니네들 플랜. 너가 나 안 될 거라며. Okay, let's do it.
Okay, this is another instrumental that I'm talking about. If you guys listen to that instrumental and you haven't heard the recorded versions yet, I think you can tell just from that portion that what I'm talking about when I'm saying these instrumentals are a lot. Like, damn. Damn. Okay.
동작부서 비기네 지는 회사 행사 근데 시리 니네 지금 뭘 하고 싶은 거야 도대체 여기 누가 다 막혀놓은 거지 나의 적수는 한 명도 안 보이네 Vote for me, let's see All of my time 내 personal 미러 왜 대한민국이 나의 personal 코너 거긴 이름 없 너를 만들어 터너 아무도 나를 못 말려 마치 TV 터너 이미 여기에 나 인생 터너 다른 랩보다 내가 싹다 털어 그리 돌아서 니네 시체 위를 걸어 찾아갈게 아쿠만처럼 Yeah 난 너네 걸 전부 다 뺏으려고 왔지 너는 도망치게 돼 있어 어차피 아쿠마 결국에 난 세상에 나왔지 내가 온 순간부터 이제 여긴 다 비상의 상태 더 비상의 상태 이제 너는 다 비상의 상태 다 비상의 상태 이제 너는 다 비상의 상태 다 비상의 상태 이제 너는 다 비상의 상태 다 비상의 상태 이제 너는 다 걔는 Fleeky Bang을 대해 더 입더러 수행하는 미션 걔는 내가 혹시 성공할까 떨어 몸이 멈춰 난 들리면 니네 랩 너무 착해 안 무서워 니네게 이쪽 밑에 뿌리 우스워 니 꼬리 집어치는 소리 feel like 니네끼리 지목질을 하던 말도 상관 안해 어쩌고 저쩌고 하는 말이 너무나도 아직도 걔네는 한국에서 들이 뭐 어쩌고 진짜 날아가는 시간에 사고 있는 게 많냐고 다시 왔어 이 쇼 많은 사람들을 좋아해서 내가 가사를 쳐대 이제 애쓰나 시나갔던 허기 모든 걸 이겨내고 나 여기 I'm about the mountain 쓸어 담으러 왔어 I need my profit 목표를 통째로 집어삼키지 한탕 그게 불려 내 파켓 움직여 바비 하루 종일 뛰다 보니 발바닥에 땀띠 질주에 차가운 아스팔트 위 내 머리부터 갖다 대고 박치기 트랙마다 확실히 남겨 내 자취 different species we more stylish 우리 풍기지 우월한 맵시 니의 Fleeky 니건 garbage 맘씨가 착한 lady 그녀는 갈구해 숨 막히는 private stage 밤 새우 we going crazy 집어 던져내 고비 크게 불독이는 토끼 시커먼 여기에 스모kin 하늘 위로 올라도 높이 늘 또다시 맞이한 고비까지 걷더기로서 넘기지 아침 햇살에 비추는 식탁 위에 fresh broccoli I'm about to mountain 쓸어 담으러 왔어 I need my profit 가짜는 나 stop it 너네 전부 다 날 못 넘어 어차피 Hey watch 믿지만 깨져내 갈비를 피기 전에 꺼져 빨리 이미 보장 나의 타깃 폭주알이 터지기 전에 확 깨물어 마우스피스 우린 다시 장전하고 기회 놀이 그냥 반짝 놀이 여기 lock and loaded 왜 알아 통기 볼 때리는 콩 우리 크게 먹지 enjoy this moment Buck wild I came body pay 와게 우리가 나타난 순간부터 이제 여긴 다 비상 상태 다 비상 상태 이제 너는 다 비상 상태 다 비상 상태 이제 너는 다 비상 상태 다 비상 상태 이제 너는 다 one two one 비상 상태 비상 상태 이제 너는 다 비상 상태 비상 상태 이제 너는 다 비상 상태 다 비상 상태 이제 너는 다 비상 상태 다 비상 상태 이제 너는 다 비상 상태 yeah yeah 너는 다 비상 상태 yeah 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 비상 상태 yeah 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 비상 상태 yeah what
Okay, so I forgot to mention, but Trey B and Jeffrey White's song Lost on theirs to Mason Home and Osun. So Jeffrey White ended up going home. And then for this one, you're going to see next that Fleeky Bang went against Milli. I also didn't see her performance, but Fleeky Bang lost, so he went home. So that's where we're at right now, but back to the song. I can kind of see why Fleeky Bang lost because looking at the rest of the performance, a lot of them have a lot more the performance themselves and the aspects on stage are a bit more interesting. This song in itself, it's good enough, but overall it's not as exciting performance wise as some of the other songs. So that's why I see why this one lost. And after I heard the recorded version of Milli's song, so I know again it's very dynamic and she probably did a bunch of things on stage. We're gonna have to see about that. But what else did I say about the recorded version? Okay, so I felt like there's too much going on with these songs just for the sake of having a lot going on. So I know we live in this era where everybody has a short attention span and things like that, so you have to do more to keep people interested, but it's getting to the point where like it's just a bunch of noise. And yeah, it would be, and I just feel like there's too many people doing too much of the same thing. It'd be fine if there's one or a few people doing this as their signature style where they just throw everything but the kitchen sink into it, but when everybody does it, it's just too much. And I feel like the vast majority of the contestants were doing that. So, and it's not necessarily the contestants, it's more the instrumentals. So I guess that's the criticism of the producers, actually. Dang. Oh well. There's that. But this live performance was absolutely fine. I can't really find anything wrong with it. The one thing that I can find wrong with it is I'm noticing that a lot of people are just screaming into the mic at the top of their lungs to get the crowd hyped now. Again, too many people are doing that. Like, let's stop that or keep it to a minimum, because yeah, y'all are gonna have to find another way to get the crowd hyped. It's one thing if they're like, oh, make some noise, throw your hands up, repeat after me, whatever, but when it's just like a literal scream or screech into the mic, like, what are we doing? So that's how I feel. We're gonna go on to the next one. And this one is going to be AEIOU, produced by Gray, and it's Milli's song, and it features Loco. So let's go.
Yeah, shout out for my team, Gray. All the way long from Bangkok to Seoul, baby. And I use my soul when my music calls. You better listen, you better listen.
뭐야? 무슨 상황이야?
괜찮아요?
와, 연기.
Okay, so personally, when I was listening to the song recorded, I wish that she would have stayed on that original instrumental she was doing. I thought that would have been a way more interesting song to get out of Milli for this round at least. But yeah, and then that portion where she was like breathing, like that made me feel like kind of anxious. So that was interesting too, because it's like it's making you feel something, because that's what music is supposed to do, or art in general. So even though it gave me anxiety, which you would think is bad, I like that because it's like, you know, it's artistic. But I still will say that I wish she would have done that first song instrumental so we could see what that would have been like. But back to the rest of the song.
쇼미 맞아? 쇼미 같은.
Long lost God, huh? Oh, mom, drunk, basic feeling, talking, listen. I don't know where you from, what you said. Don't understand. 그치만 난 이해해. 너의 마음으로 communication, musicality to the melody to the rhythm. I'm speaking language, speaking to your organs. I feel looking at me, moving your head, making forward my feet. Put your hands up to the sky, put your hands up high, put your hands up high. You will walk on ground, quick a G, oh my. I control your life when I open my mouth like. Lover. Everybody lover. Everybody can relate, we learn, repeat, release, relate, we learn, rely. You need this even if you had she will like it. You will talk that you had to get together.
있었다. 흔들렸는데.
Yo, bring it back. Yeah,
Wanna bring it back to the basics. 어디 간지는 잘 모르겠다만 아이오우 하다 보니 생각나버렸지 소울 컴퍼니와 가리온의 메타 2026 Wake up my DJ 내 CD 10배로 팔아 입에 나 필요하지 않아 지폐를 세는 기계 역시 다 꼬라박아 버렸거든 다음 앨범 지세 야 소음 들이마셔 구름 타고 파바에 너 city like 이 자식들은 의심이 많아 난 진짜로 말 참아줘로
여기 너무 좋아.
너무 다시 해보자고 좋은 걸리겠지만 용기를 가지고 좋은 예시가 앞에 서 있잖아 천천히 보고 따라해봐 just do like Milli don't think too much better 생각 여기 저기 세고 세도 늦지 않다고 수수 just do like Milli don't think too much better 생각 왜 문제도 모르고 있어 넌 그냥 계속 기초부터 다시 해 like we all 뭐라고
깜짝한다. 친구 긴장 좀 되겠네. 이거 어떻게 그냥?
I'm a little bud. You better start like a first alphabet.
Hey, I'm a Milli 다 뺏어버렸지 난 돈 얘기라면 더 쉽게
E is for elevate, the imitate. I innovate. You're gonna have a heavyweight.
이름에서 이뤄냈지 난 미친놈같이 계속 해버려 매일매일
I live a life, I love the least I learned. I put the deed that I will did you earn.
아직까진 너도 원해 간절하게 맡긴 것처럼 쇼만해
Got bad, get to when you got what's the walk up to one. But you're right beside this side.
오만가 상상하는 것보다 냈다 떠나버려 난 사와디카
It's true, it's the best one you choose. Give it all, no, you lose, not the win. I'm you. Me on YouTube. Over me like typhoon. Broccoli, eat it out with your suit. You will never regret when you taste this. I'm your new favorite dish. Cooking with basic ingredient. AEIOU. AEIOU.
야, 씨, 어떻게 나 계속 보는 거가.
Okay, so Milli can basically really get a reaction emotionally out of you, so that's interesting. That's very interesting. And yeah, I think that Loco in this performance, as well as in the recorded version, he has one of the best featurings. I think he's either the best or the second best. I have to wait until I get through all the songs, but I think he's one of the best. There was a lot going on this instrumental, like the others, but we already know Milli does that, so yeah. So after the heavy breathing portion, when this song first started off, I was not feeling it. I was like it's just like the other ones. I don't like it. Well, it's not just like the other ones, but it has a lot of the qualities that I disliked about the other ones. But throughout the song, I realized I started liking it more, especially once Milli started, playing with her flows like she usually does, and especially once Loco came in, and the chorus is pretty catchy. So again, this isn't one of my favorite songs, but as far as it being on the bottom half, it's still at the top of the bottom half, if that makes sense. I don't know how other people are going to react to these songs because, like I said, I'm isolating on purpose so that I don't hear anything. I don't want to let any outside opinions in because that people try to say, oh no, I'm completely 100%, nobody can influence me. That's a lie. That's 100% lie because everybody's influenced because the brain works on repetition. That's just scientific neurological fact. So in order to work with that fact, that's why I am just trying to stick to myself and just watch this. And I don't see anything that anybody's talking about unless it comes basically to my comment section. So there's that for the most part. So yeah, what I'm trying to say about that is I don't know how you guys are going to feel about this song because like I said, it's the top of the bottom tier for me. And this is another thing that, oh yeah, this is why I bought that, because I was thinking, remember how I said I'm pretty sure that Milli's gonna win? now that unless some mission happens and something crazy happens that she gets eliminated, now that I'm actually watching the songs, I'm not 100% sure Milli is gonna win. Because I don't know how other people are perceiving these songs, I'm not so sure if she's gonna win anymore. I actually made a mistake. I skipped some things, so remember when I said Mama, Jeffrey White ended up going home because they lost? They actually lost to Dirt. So Rap Sandou and Junhyuk stayed, but Jeffrey White got eliminated. And then they Sky Pass, Osun, and Mason home. They face NowImYoung and Royal 44 with Kiss Kiss Kiss, which is what we're gonna do now. So Royal 44 actually got eliminated. I didn't know who they were gonna eliminate between NowImYoung and Royal 44, but let's look at this performance, let's look at this song, and see what's up.
근데 난 카메라가 켜진 것처럼 Kissing with somebody, kissing with somebody, 다시 kissing with somebody, kissing with somebody, kissing with somebody, 다시 kissing with somebody. Lately I'm smoking good all night. Big, I wanna say more. Tell me how you feel, my baby boo. 밖에 나가면 paparazzi everywhere, 그래도 good. 요즘 내기 뭐해, oh, oh. 뭐 차려 정신 상태매로 또 해로. 처음 봤던 거 수많은 여자가 말을 걸지만 난 오늘도 눈물을 참았어 너네 패션 비싼 시계 네 목걸이 80까지 커리에 1000만원짜리 패딩들이 너도 출근 요즘 Hey you know what I'm saying It is all in your love 한국말로 이건 비싼 거 Tell me how you feel sexy I know you want some candy 너네 집 magic 그녀의 문자는 뭐해 내가 좀 빠른 건지 전부 망쳤어 근데 넌 카메라가 켜진 것처럼 Kissing with somebody, kissing with somebody, 다시 kissing with somebody, kissing with somebody, kissing with somebody, 다시 kissing with somebody. With my eyes closed, 모르는 척 입 맞춰 감각이 좋은 내 척엔 당연한 거였어. First take off, 두 번째는 pop. 좀 다른데 콧소린 잘 맞아. So pop star lifestyle. 전부 같아버린 만큼 아직 남아있는 것 같다고 여기에 지금 어딘지 연락을 해야 할지 난 판단을 못해 오늘도 내 밤은 길 필요 없어졌어 자주 가는 것도 차라리 난 틀고 말아 이런 love song This kid is all you love 한국말로 이건 비싼 거 Tell me how you feel sexy Oh you want some candy 허기지 말지 Baby 웬만하면 내게 주문하지 마 자꾸 눈이 섞였던 걸 거야 오늘까지만 작업하던 like you're the one who's 같이 빨리 모여계신 맺힌 옆에 염은 기침했지 Fine walk 거유지까지 하려고 너도 나를 원한다면 너가 주는 마음 되고 나는 다가져 이 이모처럼 이 밤은 아쉬워 그냥 옆에 있어도 외로워서 다시 kissing on our body 그녀의 문자는 뭐해 문자는 뭐해 내가 좀 빠른 건지
Okay, so for anybody else, this would have been way too much auto-tune. This is a lot, but it works for them because that's kind of their brand and that's their thing. So I'll let them have that. But it was a lot. One thing I think about this performance, I feel like they actually played into their strengths and they applied their own formula that works for them. Royal is known for his being good looking and being well dressed, being a fashionista, and then NowImYoung is well known for his looks as well. So I'm glad they just did the modeling thing because it's completely different from anything we've ever seen on Show Me the Money, and they just played into it. Like, yeah, they had models, and it was different because usually people just bring the background others to dance. I also like, in contrast to what Osun and Mason Home did by bringing Bobby, who's well known in the hip hop community and was a previous winner, they brought somebody who's still a rapper, but I can tell that this rapper, even though I'm not familiar with the boys, I can tell that he's probably well known more for being a more similar to more to being more of the K-pop style, at least visually wise. Okay, so that's what I'm saying. Like, they played into the fact that people talk about their looks and people like their looks, and people have dissed them from just being pretty boys or whatever. So I think this is on the top tier of the songs, and one of the reasons for that is, I don't think it's my favorite, but I think one of the reasons for that is just they actually, by doing their own thing, formulaic thing that you would expect for them, they actually ended up doing something different from a lot of the different other people. So it's different. It's cool to do something different sometimes, but sometimes if you just stick to your own brand and your own formula, like, that can make your performance uniquely you and make it stand out a little bit. One thing I will say is that on any other season of Show Me the Money, this would have been like a middle tier song. It wouldn't have been bad at all, but it would have been like one of the best top tier songs. So I think that my opinion on that goes to show how little I don't really like the songs this season, but I think it's just a personal style issue. It's not really, a lot of these songs just are not my personal style, so there's that. And this was actually the performance that I went to sleep after and saw, because it was live after Royal 44 performed and I saw him get eliminated. I just went to sleep, not because I was mad or anything, but I was like, okay, there's only a little bit left, so I'm just gonna go to sleep now and then I'll watch the other performances later. So that brings us to the next performances, so let's go over there. Alright, so this is Flowsik featuring J Park. It's called Bounce Back, and I had a lot of positive thoughts about this song when I listened to the recorded version, so let's watch the live version for the first time ever.
효민인가? 라이브로 하시네. 효민이야.
Okay, I like this stage performance too. I'm probably gonna have to. I'm definitely gonna have to blur all of this out, but it's basically set up like a studio, which is why it makes sense that they have mosh pit playing live, because yeah, it's like having a producer in the studio. So that's interesting. Having the live performance set up like a recording environment. That's interesting.
아, 작업실.
아, 작업실.
Yo, mosh pit, I like that, boy. Levels up, man. Yo, show me the 12, what's up? Zane. Look, I'm goated. Hater, you know it. COVID, I'm so sick of the shit.
And one thing I can say, Flowsik's staying true to himself. No auto-tune, nothing, just his style. Okay, I like that. It goes back to what I said about Royal 44 and NowImYoung, so very interesting.
No biz, nobody can match me, so I'm always on my own, kid. 4 years been out the game, I'm here to drop my old hits. UAP's out the ocean, my swag is out this world. Honestly came back to soul just to find a girl. I'm just a Kyopo, can't see eye to eye. I wish you think I'm slipping, so I catch you by surprise. Took this time out of the road for this grown man. See these youngers popping, but then that life flow, man. Always walk the walk from the bottom of my soul, man. But this is what I'm asked for, I'm reaping what I've sown, man. Every year I was like, I'm about to blow, man. Everybody shining until they see the glow, man. Always walk the walk from the bottom of my soul, man. I'm reaping what I sow, man. Sushi Kuru Naka drop, bounce back, bounce back. This one of our drama, we bout to bounce back. Stars to the dollars, we gon' count that. Charge it, Java, yeah, we bout to bounce back.
아이, 섹시.
예, 어이, 아치 섹시.
Charge it, Java, yeah, we bout to bounce back. Bounce back, bounce back, This one of our drama, we bout to bounce back. Stars to the dollars, we gon' count that. 40 man. the sky 내 마지막 show me homie I don't flex diamonds and rollies 나만 할 수 있는 것들만 나지 꽉 잡은 몰리 중고 타야 알아 생 벗어나서 out of range fall down to get up 수직으로 나가
Down to earth Korean being real is part of my nature. I'm an entertainer but can't hide behind the makeup. Minority giving all of me to a major. Economy is trash, I gotta take another page. God blow the stage up, these schemers better pay up. My agency ain't doing nothing while they looking stable. Call me Jesus, run up in there, start flipping tables. Grab the broomstick and shove it, you can take it. I'm with empty promises, I'm lost like a college kid. Pushing 40 F humility.
진짜 저게 옆에 서 있는 게 재범이 형이니까 가능한 거야.
Throwing down the hole in my pit is bottomless.
bounce back bounce back
This quarter buck channel, we bout to bounce back. Stars to the dollars, we gon' bounce back. Chance jumbo, yeah, we bout to bounce back. Bounce back, bounce back. This quarter buck channel, we bout to bounce back. Stars to the dollars, we gon' bounce back. 40 trail, Took the time out on the road for this grown man. See these others poppin', but they're not like flow, man. Grinding for so long, now I'm turning to an old man. This is what I asked for, I'm reaping what I sow, man. Every year I was like, I'm about to blow, man. Everybody shining until they see my glow, man. Always walk the walk from the bottom of my soul, man. I reaping what I sow, man. So they call it bounce back, bounce back, So the whatever we bout to bounce back, Stars to the dollars, we gon' count that, Chance trouble, yeah, we bout to bounce back.
let's go
Bounce back, bounce back, This whole of whatever we bout to bounce back, Stars to the dollars, we gon' count that. 40 trouble,
make some noise
뭔가 감동이 있네.
Everybody bounce back.
Okay. Yeah, I like that performance. It was definitely different from what we've seen from Flowsik. One thing I like about this song is that Flowsik kept his original style, but then because he's with Mosh Pit and J Park, they can give him a more updated, more modern instrumental. So I think those two things, that contrast was good. So there's that. And I think he lost this. Obviously, he faced Haon, for those who don't know. So yeah, but I think he gave it a good shot. And I think on any other season versus maybe multiple different other opponents, I won't say any other opponent, but there's a lot of people who he definitely would have beat with his performance in the song. So yeah, so I like that one. Let's get into the recorded version. Okay, and I was like, okay, thank God, a song that doesn't make me sick. So I felt like this was a perfect example of what I'm talking about, the contrast and differences in the instrumental and the lyrics and the vocals, but it's not overwhelming. I said I can probably listen to this more than once. Again, it's not the best song I've ever heard, but it wasn't overdone. And as far as the instrumentals, like I said, there's a lot of different contrasts and things in the instrumental as well, but it's very subtle. I think I said that, but the first time I said it, I was talking about the instrumental versus the vocals. So yeah, that's what I'm talking about. We have one last song. It's really late here now. It's 1:20 a.m. So let's get that last song, and then I can hopefully edit this and then go to bed or something. So let's see.
여기 뭐야?
뭐야?
그대로 완벽을 보기 원하겠지만 그건 인간처럼 한없만에 만들어지는 게 아니야. 나는 부모님 속을 썩이는 법을 알아. 점퍼내고 뱉은 내 인생은 소녀만아. 나도 알아 내가 변해버렸다는 건 내 패도 말하잖아. 이제 더 멀리 갈 수 있겠다고 일어나서 하는 일은 아주 약간의 카디오. 땀이 날 정도로 그 에너지 레디오 액티브. 너네 대신 깨르는 게 패스. 신나게 내 패션 나는 인시하는 패션. 만들어낸 내리몽키 없이 하는 메디스로 담아 네 어텐션. 다른 말로 how to get it like woo. 0 to 1 billion unbelievable 하지 living in the era 51. 미소를 띄워낸 serious 미래를 보는 듯이 근데 고장 바로 비디오 peace. 네가 찾고 또 찾던 거 보면서 미안히 내 내면에 있던 거 we. 만을 보고 달렸게 내 그림자가 너에겐 커 보였을지도 so please. 백일은 세대 날 맘대로 불러니 속으로 빌어니 win. I'm making it happen. As long as I breathe in, breathe out. 숨을 쉬어, 숨을 쉬어. Breathe, I breathe in, breathe out.
One thing I like is that it seems like the contestants are actually interacting with the performers, even if they're not doing the full choreography. I think that's really interesting.
숨을 쉬어, 숨을 쉬어.
와 멋있다.
퇴근을 당겨 테레비 밖으로 나서 태권 타이콘 태도는 가끔 배려는 가끔 그래 내 배급을 twice 해버렸다니 책임을 받고 No matter what they say 난 이제 바쁜 발에담에 헤드들이 끌어 나오지 하품 메어봤자 fresh하게 뱉어버리는 가글 만들어 잡소리들을 쓸어버리는 타이폰 너만 계획도 메디테이터 가라 비디 스피드 내 멋대로 하네 always spin back 해봐 always 싹 잡아먹게 따라가다 보니 느낀 거 그래 맞아 완벽한 어수버 매일 밤 계속되며 탄생하는 최선 crush
Wow.
멋있다.
손에 잡힐 듯 말 듯. Can't breathe.
Oh, we got Crush playing the piano too, so it's another person using the instruments.
감미롭군.
희미한 온기를 쫓아 헤맬 때. Broke out. 다 이루어지지 않아도 say it too much. 숨이 닿을 때까지.
As long as I breathe in, breathe out. 숨을 쉬어, 숨을 쉬어. I breathe in, breathe out. 숨을 쉬어, 숨을 쉬어, 숨을 쉬어, 숨을 쉬어. Breathe. I breathe in, breathe out. 숨을 쉬어, 숨을 쉬어. Breathe. I breathe in, breathe out. 숨을 쉬어,
레벨이 달라.
숨을 쉬어.
가자.
My life is a musical, enemies possible. Ballin' on stadium, jammering. 혹에서 매스컴 내리면 낙이나 날들의 파편은 비난나 때문에 연락에 만들어 팬이든 헤르든 야기빙 에너지 에코 프렌들리 담아낸 메들린 8년이 당기는 매듭 이미지네이션 또한 되물림 지킨 my chest, get breaking again 난 밀어낼게 but I did it again You know my perspective is the perfection 개소린 됐어 나 지원이 캡쇼에서 네 겉에 변해버렸단 말에 진화로 대고 like no one is a breaker Rocket to SpaceX 위험해 보인대 그럼 어땠어 Yeah, 구색인 내 paychecks Yeah, yeah, 구색인 내 paychecks Yeah, yeah 때로 나를 미워하는 너도 싫은 나를 사랑하다는 걸 나로 만나봐는 왔어 And I never chase, yeah, yeah, yeah And I never chase, yeah, nah, nah 나도 원하게 내 말이 뭐지 다음날이 되면 바로 사라지는 뭐지
Okay, so obviously that's a really good song. I think, remember when I told you I thought that Loco was the best featuring artist? I think it's Crush. So there's that. That's what I thought when I listened to the recorded versions as well. And I think this is also one of the best songs this episode. So I'm going to try to rank the top tier. I think it would be between this song and actually Bounce Back, which is Flowsik song. So it's interesting that they went against each other. Haon won, but yeah. This song fits my taste a little bit more than Bounce Back, but Bounce Back is a really good song as well. And then number 2 for the top tier would be probably Kiss Kiss Kiss. And then number 3 for the top tier would be, in my opinion, probably MR.ROCKLEE. And then after that, everything else is the bottom tier for me. I'm not even going to rank those. I would say probably Mama might be my least favorite just because it's just hard to say. Yeah, that's why I'm not ranking the bottom tier, because there's things that I really like and dislike about each song. I like Sky Pass. Oh, so maybe Sky Pass can be at the top tier. It's like the boundary between the top tier and the bottom tier, I think. But I like the performance of Sky Pass better than I like the recorded version. But anyway, let's get to my phone and see what I had to say about this song. I was thinking Han should try a different tempo rapping on this instrumental, but then as soon as I was thinking that, Crush came on, and obviously the instrumental changed, and then I think Crush's featuring provided the different tempo and the change of pace that we actually needed, so that was great. And obviously his singing on the recording as well as in the live performance was great, amazing. A lot of people, you aren't going to be able to see it because it's blurred out, but a lot of people were like, oh my god, it's amazing, like kind of fangirling out, things like that. The song is never boring, so I thought that was good. And again, I think this is another song that had a good use of the contrast, where it wasn't just too much and too over the top. So in general, I feel like some of these songs are alright, but the overall listening experience of the compilation was just too. I didn't really enjoy it, but that's how I feel about that. So that's all I really have to say now for this video. Please go and watch Show Me the Money Diss Battle, F9 Diss Battle Part 1, and watch that. It's gonna be Team Loco and it's gonna be Team Loco and Gray versus Team Lil Moshpit and J Park, I think. And then at some point I'm going to release part 2, which is the other two teams going against each other. So make sure you like, subscribe, comment down below anything you want to let me know and which song you like the best. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!